ma'am, on your new book, Sigma Woman. Now, I'm going to start the conversation with a question that is perhaps hovering on all our lips. We've heard of alpha women and we've heard of beta women, but the discourse around Sigma women is a little recent. So tell us, we are curious to know, why did you pick this title for your book? And how do you think this title reflects your journey as a bureaucrat as well as a creative artist?
A Sigma woman is a woman who's born out of the box. Everything about her is not the man of the way. As a child, I was a very introvert, very oversensitive, very timid type. And subsequently, over the years, you go through the renewal of life. You become hard, you become tough, you become strong. So a Sigma woman is really like evolving into a decision maker. A person who has the strength and the courage to walk alone and take and do what is right without caring for public's opinion. Sometimes you are so ahead of your time that people don't understand it. Actually, in this world, we have not come to be understood. We have come here to understand our own inner self. So once you realize that whether somebody has faith in your decisions or not, it doesn't matter. It's your conviction and your path is based on the purity and truth. So at times, not every time, I'm a very much loved person, many friends, but I'll still be that at times you have to walk you, and you should be fearless about that. That inner connection is very important for Sigma women. So initially, I will tell a story. My son, when I finished the book, I said I call it less ordinary. This is very, this title is not appropriate for you. So he's my biggest critique. So ultimately we decided keep it बहुत बड़ा नाम नहीं होना चाहिए. The book name should be very small and catchy. So actually this name is catchy.
Very evocative.
And also, I would say any woman, the journey for all of us who are sitting here was not so simple and easy. We had to break the glass ceiling. It a journey. And when you come from very technical job, initially people don't even consider you good enough. And you have to prove that you are more than enough. So this is the journey of not being good enough to becoming more than enough.
Right. That's wonderful. That's a beautiful way of putting it. And you seem to have rewritten the archetype of traditional femininity, with Sigma woman.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So, ma'am, the second question. You've had 36 solo exhibitions. Today you are here to start your exhibition tomorrow, which is Adi Yogi Shiva exhibition, where she is worked with indigo on textile. So she's always experimenting with the kind of art forms, the medium, and the canvas. Instead of the canvas, she shifted to the textile. So I'm not going to ask you the typical cliched questions that who's been your creative trigger or who's been the creative mentor. What I would be more interested in knowing is, what is it about, your art which attracts you so much and gives you so much of creative fulfillment that you have kept on with this creative, prolific rhythm for almost 4 decades now, isn't it? 4 decades. So that's a very, very long journey to travel. So tell us a little about that.
Actually, when I was a very young child, look, we come from a very small town in Kushinagar. Kushinagar was not realistic at that point of time. And it has a small Count Varadhanpuri base, and we were from there. But my father, my grandfather, everybody had so much conviction about good education. My Nana, my grandfather studied at Oxford University. My father was the topper of Calabab University. So they knew the value of education. And my father also thought that being educated, not only educated, you have to be economically independent. He was very particular seeing the condition of the girl child. He thought that the best thing he can give us is the good education. I went to a boarding school when he used to come for summer vacation. There was nothing much to do in that small time. So I used to read, and I really enjoyed doing it, or reading. These were the two things. We didn't have television when I was a very young child. So reading, I think in my generation, reading has always been greatest pastime. And whatever I am today, reading has played a very important role. While I was 11, 12 year old and I was reading Dr. Jivago. And my mother said, "Kya पढ़ रहे?" Doctor, he never said that तुम्हारे मेरे में नहीं घुसेगा. He said, अच्छा होको पक्का. वो मैं टॉन्स्टर पढ़ रही हूँ, War and Peace, ये सब किताबें पढ़ी. So a very dormant poet was inside me, a very dormant artist was inside me. But the pressure of becoming independent economically was too much. And my father also thought that once you are economically independent, you will find time to do all of this. So when I found time, more than, once you are on your own and you enjoy the freedom of your economy, then you feel कि मेरे bucket list में क्या क्या रह गया है. But on the side, I always wrote poems. When I was maybe 15, 16-year-old, since then I was writing poems. I was reading, my father really bought us books by Fasil. So reading made me interested in art, in poetry, in literature. I never studied literature. But when I entered paper civil services and I was already teaching political science, the second subject I thought I had read so much literature. With the literature related, I qualify with the literature. So it's not that what you have studied in school is important. I didn't go to art college. But when I bought the time, I made myself learn the technicalities from a very professional artist in Calcutta. While I was posted there and my son was a toddler, I said कि चलो हम दोनों एक साथ सीखते हैं फिर से. We will restart. So my message to all of you is कि अगर कोई व्यक्ति इसमें रह गया ना लाइफ का, उसको छोड़ा मत. So that is the journey. If you are passionate about life and you believe that my time is here and now, you will always find something or the other which will keep you happy. And the day you realize that happiness comes through art or poetry, why not do it? So it was not that I sustained art, art sustained me.
Yeah.
And Turkey sustained me. That is my story.
Okay, that's amazing. So you've been a creative artist, I think, for almost as long as you've been a bureaucrat. Now, in the Indian Revenue Service or any other service for that matter, there is a very structured framework, it's very disciplined, there is a hierarchy to it, whereas creativity demands a free flow of thoughts and interactions. So did you at any time feel that there was a dissonance between your professional life and your creative life? In fact, I'm going to ask a very specific question. Did you ever feel that your creativity was stifled by your profession? Or did you feel that it gave it another maybe added dimension or something like that?
It has both the aspects. But Dominic, bureaucracy, it's such a structured, framework that it does restrain your creativity to some extent. As that gave me more reasons. I felt that the freedom which I want, my free spirit, I am a very free-spirited person. So I thought, अगर मैं इसको balance नहीं करूँगी ना, I need to balance my feminine and masculine. Every job, and especially a job for taxi administrator, also in very masculine in the, if you can divide it into categories of masculinity and femininity. And poetry is very feminine, art is very feminine, and I do believe that there is one God shape who has balanced both his entities, masculine and feminine. So he can create and he can also destroy. So he had been my role model actually.
Right.
That each individual need to balance our both energies. Suppose I have a batchmate who is very passionate about sports. and at the same time you have to perform as an IAS officer. So you need to balance both. And it is earlier the mindset was you can excel in only one thing. But there are two types of people in this world. One, like Sati Devulkar, they will excel and excel and excel in one field, in a one prototype. The other prototype, you will do many things and you will excel in all. So, if you believe that whatever you do 100%. If I'm doing my office job, I did quite well as an officer also. Some of, I was so sincere that during the lunch time also, I bothered the image so much. इधर कि मेरा ये केस है, मैं इस पर बिल्कुल हारना नहीं चाहती हूँ, इसको किसी भी लेवल पे जाना मुझे जीतना ही है इस केस को, because the stakes are too high. And ultimately, we have won that case at all levels. So, sometimes your seniors, they don't understand you. They feel that if she is a good writer or a poet or a artist, and by God's grace, you have some kind of acclaim also in that field, then they don't realize that you can do justice to your job. Some 30, 40 years back, it was very difficult. In fact, this other he said कि artist है ये poet है तो काम ही कितनी है. Even your bachelors he used to go and tell that उसको कुछ भी side track कर दो, उससे कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ने वाला. ऐसे नहीं फर्क पड़ने वाला. I don't want to be not giving my 100% to my department, and I will. So you have to work harder. That's why I became a Sigma woman. That when all these challenges made me realize that who will fight for you? You have to fight for your own self. And you have to prove that, I have to prove wrong to my bosses that no, I can do better than many of us who are working together. So that is these are small challenges of life we all have faced, but the women of India have faced it a little more than the male part of us.
That's true. Harmeet and I face the same problems. Okay, ma'am. So you also are a filmmaker. It's amazing. I mean, you're really multifaceted. You're a poet. And then I can understand that as a visual artist, you would be working with canvas and brushes and then maybe transition to the camera also. But why particularly documentary filmmaking? Because normally you don't associate so much of creativity or free-flowing creativity, I would say, with a documentary film. So what was it that, gravitated you towards this genre of filmmaking?
In my life, everything has happened because of my situations. When I came to Delhi, I met an architect who also happened to be a poet, and I was really very impressed by his knowledge of art and his knowledge of poetry, the way how to, I was just graduating from figurative to abstract, and his work was very abstract in poetry. He became my friend, philosopher, guide, mentor, and I decided that the kind of wisdom he has, the seriousness, he used to call high seriousness of a creative person. I said, what is high seriousness? He said, commitment. You have to show up every day as a poet. Poetry is not what you write on paper. Poetry is a way of living. Art is a way of living. Every day you have to bend as you have to do something. So I thought that about whatever I have learned and I have evolved, let other artists also know. So I decided that let's make a film on it. I said, okay, I will produce the film. I contacted a very high official Hindu version saying that आप प्लीज उनके पर फिल्म बना दीजिए and मैं उसको प्रोड्यूस कर दूँगी because I think what he has to say should be seen and heard by all creative people because he has wisdom. He was like a mistake. His name is Keshav Malik. I have 3 documents. First 3 documentary comes on here only. उसने कहा हाँ हो जाएगा, तुम ऐसा करो, तुम राइटर हो, तुम स्क्रिप्ट को वैसे कर लो, क्रोनोलॉजी में कुछ लिख लो, उनके फोटोग्राफ्स कलेक्ट करो, ये सारा काम. I was doing all that. I did all the groundwork, but he had no time and said, हो जाएगा यार 2 दिन में तो फिर ऐसे नहीं, he is going to touch 90.
No, amazing.
That if I do not make that film, it will be my biggest regret. ये सब कर लेते हैं, with tutoring, ऐसे ऐसे चलता था. And my son just completed his education and he was going to start his career as a
Okay.
finance person. So I said we don't get time to spend together, so I'm going to the Kiran Nagar Museum to see some small films made by artists. And तुम मेरे साथ चलो, हम लोग वहाँ उसको he has this habit of कि हम वो हमें स्टूडियो में बैठ के घंटों बात कर सकता है, कि उसके रूम में बैठ के घंटों बात कर सकता है. He is a very good friend. So he said, okay, fine, let's go. When he saw those films, जब कज़ाक हो गए हम लोग चाय पिए थे और समोसे खा रहे थे. He said, Mama, that bugger is not making your film. So why don't you make? So don't say he's a very acclaimed person. He said, doesn't matter. दूरदर्शन क्या होगा, ऐसे दो लोग बैठ जाके केशव मलिक बैठ जाइए और वो ऐसे बेबूम करे सवाल कुछ का. Instead of that, you understand his poetry, you know everything about him, you have a long association with him, why don't you make the break? I said, I'm not the trained filmmaker, how would I do it? He said, you are a very good photographer, you are a visual artist, you are a poet. तुम्हारे पास इतना अच्छा फिल्म का कैमरा भी है, why don't you try and go for a training for 3 months, what will you do? So ऐसे करके उसने मुझे इंस्पायर किया. And I was so like, I went to Keshav Malik. Amutila Bre was that today. He said, Tamu, my son's name, pet name is Self. I said, Tamu is saying that why? He can say anything. So उनके साथ जाके के बातचीत करके I thought he has understood कि क्या फिल्म बनाएगी. So every time that I went to his house, Ukalot place में रहते थे, he used to come and brought me into my vehicle. So he came and while I was sitting in the vehicle, he said, when do you want to start the film? When do they shoot? Then I came out of the car, I started jumping like I was like, you have a faith in me, I can make a film. He said, next time if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, how does it matter? So my son and the person on whom I was going to make the film, they had immense faith in me, and then I made a film. When I went to the director again saying that आप मेरा footage देख लो, उधर इसको shoot किया. बिल्कुल बकवास से 6 घंटे के footage से आधे घंटे की क्या film बनेगी? It really hit me hard. So at 11:30 or maybe 12 o'clock, I called a friend, artist friend. आधे देखो से फिर रात को 12 बजे भी बात कर लेते हैं. उसी बात तुम्हें क्या बात है तेरा? हमने कहा तुम्हारे पर एक फिल्म बनी, उसको किसने डायरेक्ट किया, किसने शूट किया? ये पागल हो गई, रात के 12 बजे मुझे 30 से जगह के पूछ रही हो कि ये किसने तो और एक पर फिल्म बनाई है. You can discuss this tomorrow morning. I said no, I can't see. फिर को भी बताओ, सबको नंबर दो और उसको कंफर्म करके बोलो कि I want to beat it. I took it as a challenge actually. I would prove him wrong. If I had shot the film and the person concerned has faith in me, and I'd also feel that what content-wise my film was very good. So we went. He said, you have shot more than enough, so it will take lot of time to edit this because you have to make a 30 minutes. So I said, doesn't matter, but I want to make a film and I want to clear that film on his birthday as the surprise. So that was my overconfidence, confidence, narrative, whatever you say, but we did it and the film was screened by ICCR in the big auditorium, and somehow I don't know how I managed to make that film and it was very healthy. Within 3 days I in another museum for me to see that film and we have never won. तो कभी तो लाइफ में एक्सीडेंट्स होते हैं, quite sweet accidents. I became a filmmaker totally by accident.
A happy accident, I must say. अब पोइट्री की बात हो रही है मैम, तो आप हमें कुछ पढ़ के सुनाएंगे? Hindi, English, anything.
Dominantly, I used to write in Hindi. I come to UP and my Hindi is quite good, and I am more comfortable in writing in Hindi. And most of my books were dedicated either to my son or to my mother. My mother used to read my things, but my son didn't pay much attention. So I always, dedicate my books and don't read it. जब तुम ऐसे इंग्लिश पे हो उसमें मेरे को थोड़ी प्रॉब्लम होती है. देखा ये कोई तरीका है तो पढ़ना चाहिए. My mother क्या देख लिए? He did not tell me anything. He went and bought a dictionary कि हिंदी के टर्म्स को हम उसको समझने के लिए कैसे उसको इंग्लिश में देखें. एंड आई वेंट एंड आई थॉट कि मैं 2 पोएम इंग्लिश में लेके फेसबुक पर डालती हूँ, देखती हूँ क्या रिस्पॉन्स आता है. द रिस्पॉन्स वॉज ओवरवेलमिंग. सो आई केम एंड read one or two poems to him in English, he said, "Arey, Bekari Rishte ke liye hai." So I'm saying, my night has been eventful in that small base. And then within no time, because I'm a prolific writer, so my book was ready, and then I gave it to read to Keshav Malik. And he said, your poetry is very mature. And he had already translated my Hiti poems into English. I have been very lucky, I must say. So I became a bilingual bird. Today I'm going to read my, from this book, Marisa and Other Poems. Marisa, again I feel is a Sigma woman. But she was wrong. Justice was not done to her. So I want to speak that we should fight for those people, or we should try to put their perspective in public domain who have been wrong. Justice has not been done to those people. So my tribute to Marisa, but this book is called Marisa and Other Poems. I'll read two poems on Marisa only, because we are talking about Sigma honors, so I'm taking reference from that. The first poem on Marisa is, Marisa, you were betrayed by the gods. They call you a demon, though your innocence, your purity of the body and the soul was violated. You were a priestess, praying in the temple of Athena, the goddess. Without your consent, you were taken away by Poseidon, the sea god. Athena cursed you instead of cursing Poseidon. You prayed, you pleaded, but she did not heed. You lost your virginity to a god. You were heartbroken and devastated. What killed you more, Marisa? The physical violation of Poseidon, or was it the betrayal of Athena, whom you worship and revered more than anyone in the universe? When you needed healing, Athena cursed, taking away your beauty, isolating you from all others. Was an act of envy? Justice was denied to you. It seems it is a universal curse on womanhood by Athena. The second poem is also on Marisa. Marisa, you were immortal. You could turn any male into a stone. You turned your curse into an asset with heroics, with vengeance. You rose from the victim mold. With furious rage, you became a challenge to the gods. They kill you by design, through scheming, yet your head remained immortal. You returned finally to Athena as a symbol of a shield, reminding her always of the wrong done to you. You returned as a savior. That was your sweet revenge and unconditional love for Athena. Marisa, let me salute you.
Wow. That's beautiful, ma'am. Amazing. We are running out of time. I would have loved to explore more aspects of your creativity, but I'm going to wrap up the conversation with one last question. If you were to write a letter to yourself, a younger Sangeeta, say the Sangeeta who just joined the service, or say the Sangeeta who wrote her first poem or her first artwork or her first documentary, what would you say to her? What advice would you give her? Okay, all of that.
If I had to go back in time or talk to my younger self and advisor, I will only give two advice. At our age, we realize how much time we have wasted.
Yeah.
and Tripless says, I could have, done better time management. Though everybody feels that I had a great time manager, but I still feel that I wasted a lot of time and I could have utilized it better. The second thing which I will tell myself is, I should have learned long back to say no.
That is the most difficult thing to do. Yes.
Say no. When you say no when you don't say yes to somebody,
Yeah.
actually, as far as time is of essence, then you are saying no to your own self at many times.
Right.
And people, when they realize that you will go out of your way to help, instead of helping them first, they put their emotional burden or maybe physical burden or work-wise, even your police or on कंधे की ये करती जॉब पे होता था कि वो उसका पहले हो गया टारगेट है चाहिए उसको बुला को इसकी करवाएगी सो एट टाइम्स यू आर ओवरबर्डन विदाउट रियलाइजिंग आई फील दैट द सूनर वी लर्न टू से नो टू मेनी थिंग्स then you will be, your output on your life would be much better. I have not cared so much about my physical health because of overburdening myself with yes. So these are the two things I would tell my younger self. थोड़ा no बोलना सीखो.
So thank you, ma'am, for such an engaging and insightful conversation.
One bit, please.